Hi and welcome to another Stax video tutorial. This time we're going to have a look at adding a checkbox control to your Stax application. The process for adding a checkbox control is similar to adding the radio button control if you've seen that earlier tutorial. So let's dive straight in and have a look at how we do this. So I've loaded up my test application, and the first thing I'm going to do is drag in a new group. The group I'm going to use to contain each of the buttons which are going to represent our checkboxes. I'm going to add a total of 4 checkboxes. Each checkbox is going to represent a colour for the user to select from. So I'm just going to drag in each of the button controls now, and once the button controls have gone in, I'm then going to drag in a pair of images for each of the buttons which represent our normal and hover over states. To save a bit of time, I'm just going to skip ahead in the video so we can see them completed. The next thing I'm going to want to do is add labels to each of the checkboxes so the user knows what the checkbox is representing. So I'm going to label each of these a colour. The first one's red, and I'm just going to reposition that and put it into the correct position next to the checkbox. Now I'm going to repeat the same process for the other 3 buttons, but again I'm going to skip ahead just to save a little time. So here we have our 4 checkboxes and the 4 labels representing either red, blue, yellow or violet next to them. The next thing I'm going to want to do is to set up the checkbox functionality. Now in order to do that, I select on the group that contains the buttons, and then in the controls panel what I'm going to do is rename the group so it's an intelligible name. Then I'm going to go down to the group type and change it to checkbox. Although it's not required, I'm also going to add a mandatory to the group, which means the user has to select an option before they could submit it. And that's all there is to wiring up the checkbox functionality. So let's go ahead and publish that and try it in the browser. So our page is loaded on Facebook, and as we can see we've got our 4 checkboxes. And now as I click in each of them, I can select any combination of colour that I want from the checkboxes. And once that's wired to a button, if I submit it, it will then store those values in the database. And that's all there is to adding a checkbox to your Stax application. I hope this was useful.